What is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with Tigra's release here. As you can see, she's officially in the game now, and you bet we're gonna be taking advantage of those red star orbs. We're gonna be deep diving her kid, in addition to taking a look at what Iso-8 does match her. So having said that, Tigra's character is a combination of applying bleed and slow to devastate her enemies, as well as stripping away their immunity, as well as tanking for the team overall. So really, she's gonna be enhancing the damage and HP while also granting evasion, which is really big. She's gonna be a very important piece, especially being able to apply trauma, additional bleed to the enemies, as well as gaining speed up, evasion, even safeguard, which is really big, guys. So first and foremost though, there is going to be an event tied for her, so we'll definitely be unpacking that when that comes out. But having said that, we always got to take advantage of these red stars. So every time there's a new character being added, there is a 15% increase here. We do like to take advantage of this. You never know how high we can get with events going forward. We've built up quite a massive pool here of the Elite Force. So similar before, we're going to start with these and see how our luck is, and then continue from there. So let's get right to it. Hopefully our luck is better than the last time. I think it took us quite a few tries, but we did actually end up getting a pretty powerful Mockingbird, but that was not without utilizing a lot of these Elite Fours, and the luck just wasn't falling for us. Okay, cool. Oh, nice. There was an actual upgrade there. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good with the 4, to be honest, just because typically this is where the free-to-play standard is. So having said that, let's take a look at the kit. Now, especially with Tigra's kit, it's been super interesting because ever since she was originally announced, there's been quite a few changes thanks to the community feedback and the envoys commenting on what works and what doesn't for this team. Having said that, her kit has now been revised to the point where it is a lot more useful outside of the war setting, which is the intended game mode for this team. So that's awesome to see. Let's get right into the details of each of the abilities, as well as what we can look at for a T4 upgrade, and as well assess what that Iso-8 is going to be. So Rising Up is her basic ability here, essentially attacking the primary target for piercing damage. This attack does chain. As we level this ability up higher, you can see there's going to be the application of bleed to the primary and as well as secondary targets. What's really cool and different about this ability is that if the target already has bleed, there's going to be an additional bleed that's been added. So that does actually look like it stacks several times as we level this up. Piercing damage goes up. Level 6 is good value because it also gives her an evasion up to a maximum of 5 times. And then as well with the T4 here giving additional piercing. So level 6 is pretty good where it is. If you're pretty tight on T4 materials, you can probably stop right there just because that extra damage from the basic probably isn't game changing. But it's really nice to have as icing on the cake if you do have the materials for it. Next up, special is Stalks Her Prey, attacking the primary target for piercing damage. You can see kind of similar to the basic, it's going to rebound and chain to adjacent targets. There's going to be additional evasions that also get granted, and this is her taunt ability. She's also going to be gaining evasion and taunting, so essentially being that protector for the team, soaking up damage and targeting her so that way she can protect the rest of the team. Very similar to the basic, bleed's going to apply to the primary target, additional bleed for secondary. Defense up is actually going to be granted, which is really cool with death proof, and more specifically what she's going to gain in war is an additional evasion. So tons and tons of evasion, death proof, defense up. This is a very strong special ability that benefits her immensely, and as well protecting the team. With the T4 upgrade, piercing damage is significantly added. She also gains immunity, and more notably in war, safeguard is actually added. So we know that with the next legendary event, this could be a pretty crucial event in terms of unlocking. So this ability could be very vital for that survivability, especially the safeguard, which ensures the immunity and all the positive buffs do stay on Tigra. Having said that, I can see this being a very likely upgrade for myself when I'm bringing this team up. But obviously, there's no point to level this if you're not using her in war. So just something to keep in the back of your mind, but a very strong special nonetheless. Her ultimate ability went the distance, attacking all enemies for percentage damage. Again, gaining the evasion, gaining the taunt. So both these abilities, giving her the taunt is just going to give the team continual diversion of attacks, right, and really drawing that damage away. And the evasion also helps because it's going to get really hard and tricky to actually land an attack on her with all the evasions. Bleeds are once again applied to all enemies. This one also has a slow. In war, there's additional bleeds here, so that's nice. Additional taunt, additional evasions, and then with the T4 upgrade here to level 7, the notable increase in damage, as well as clearing immunity on all enemies, and as well as applying a detrimental trauma to all enemies. So similar to the special, this is a pretty big one to upgrade, but again, a lot of these bonuses really do come from effectively being utilized in war, so just something to be mindful of. If you're planning to take advantage of her for the next legendary event, this ability does make sense. Special and ultimate are very strong, especially with the safeguard and trauma, really balancing the character, right? Her high energy cost is the setback, so just something to be mindful of. And obviously there's going to be characters that can assist her, like Mockingbird, that can actually be able to help that out. But otherwise, both these abilities are going to be taking away damage, which is really good for the protection of the team. So definitely looks like a very strong upgrade, again, for war more specifically, because you can get some pretty good value even at level 6 here. Last but not least, Passion for Glory is the passive. So on spawn, applying 2 evasion to herself and a random adjacent new Avenger ally. So it is going to be important in terms of who's going to be next to her in that case. On dodge, she's also going to get the speed bar actually being added. She gains additional damage and HP from this passive as well. So by leveling this up, new Avengers are going to gain damage and additional HP, so it makes sense to really boost this up as high as you can. And then we finally get the war bonuses, right? Applying evasion to all the new Avengers, and as well in war, lowering damage reduction by 25% with bleed, and as well lowering resistance for enemies with bleed. So taking advantage of the bleed dynamic here in terms of the synergy, but as well all these abilities really making sense for her kit and how it's going to benefit the new Avengers. So I mean, overall, each and every one of her abilities are pretty good. Her special, ultimate, and passive, to be honest, they're all pretty equal in importance. So especially as a war character, I definitely can see myself upgrading all of them, especially for the next legendary event. Having said that, I think, there's a lot of capabilities of what you can do with her. I think a Raider and a Striker do make the most sense. The reason I say Striker is because with her additional attacks and the additional strike, assisted attacks and so forth, she's going to be continually applying bleed, and that's going to be really powerful. Even as a protector, she's going to be applying a lot of damage, and bleeds are, percentage based, right? So this can really hurt the enemy. You can also do a Raider to also apply vulnerables and take advantage and allow these strikers on the team to synergize with that. So I think both work. It really depends on how the rest of the team does look, but at the end of the day, I think they're going to be safe choices, and it's going to be more dependent on how your team looks, so that way you can slot her in as a Striker or Raider, depending on where the rest of the characters lie on the roster. So there you guys have it. That's the review there with the rest stars. Hopefully you guys have good luck as well. Thank you as always. Do appreciate you guys checking my videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.